Good morning, Mr. Hamdan. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. An honor to have your presence again on our 20-minute show.
Good morning to you. I hope that you are well, although it's 9 p.m. here.
Mr. Hamdan, since January 19th, military attacks in the Gaza Strip have been suspended thanks to the ceasefire agreement signed between Hamas and Israel. How do you assess the ceasefire implementation up to now?
Well, thank you for having me. I believe that till now, on the level of the prisoners exchange, the things are going smoothly, mostly smoothly. But on the humanitarian level, Israel is still putting obstacles to prevent the complete implement for this arrangements, the ceasefire arrangements. Israel was supposed to allow all the needed materials for both issues, the humanitarian aid and the medical aid, and also the tents, the caravans for the people who their houses were demolished by the Israelis. Till now, they are putting some obstacles. We have talked several times to the mediators. The things are going better now, but it's not according to the limits which was agreed on. Unfortunately, this is the usual Israeli way to deal with any kind of agreements or arrangements. We will continue pushing hard in order to achieve a complete implementation for this arrangement. But in general, I can say that it's better than the situation which was in November 2023. If you remember when there was some exchange of the prisoners and the Israelis undermined the whole process that time. This time, the situation is better than the situation at that time.
Mr. Hamdan, in the first 3 weeks of the agreement, Hamas released a total of 21 hostages in exchange for 566 Palestinian prisoners released by Israel. Do you know how many hostages could still be returned alive and how many Palestinian prisoners could be released up to the end of the agreement?
Well, I can talk about the first stage because we can't talk about the whole arrangement. The second stage is not agreed on the details yet about the prisoners exchange. So if I want to talk about the first stage, there will be release of 33 Israeli prisoners in Gaza. We expect that 32 out of them are alive, and we will have for that 1,400 Palestinians who will be released from the Israeli jails. Part of them are children and women. Part of them, they were hostages taken after 7th of October from Gaza when Israel invaded. Whereas they were taken from the shelters, from the hospitals. Some of them, they were injured because of the Israeli bombings. They were taken at that time. And part of them, around 300, they were Palestinian freedom fighters who were arrested, some of them 40 years before, from several Palestinian organizations, Fatah, Islamic Al Jihad, Popular Front, Democratic Front, and Hamas. So we are talking about around 1,700 Palestinians who are supposed to be released in the first stage.
Do you think that Marwan Barghouti could be freed in the agreement?
I believe that we will do our best to have Marwan Barghouti, Ahmed Saadat, and other senior Palestinian leaders. Israel has rejected completely to talk about those names. After the negotiations, the outcome was those names will not be included in the first stage, but there is no veto about having them in the first stage. For us in Hamas, we believe the prisoners exchange is a national issue. It's not an issue related to the Palestinian organization like Hamas. It's not our prisoners only. We are supposed to have all our prisoners as Palestinian prisoners. This is why when I was talking about the 1,700 Palestinians who will be released in this stage, the first stage, they are from all the Palestinian organizations. Maybe Hamas is less than 20% of them, and they are from all the Palestinian organizations. This is always our way to do that when we talk about the prisoners exchange. It's a national issue. Those people who are in the Israeli jails, they are freedom fighters. They have sacrificed to liberate their lands and their people. They have fighted the Israelis to have the freedom of their nation. So it's our duty to deal with that as a national issue.
Mr. Hamdan, most of the hostages, especially the women, seem to be in good health condition. How did Hamas manage to hide, protect, and feed them? How do you respond to allegations of mistreatment and even rape made by Israel?
Well, I think the allegations of Israel were discovered as great lies earlier in the 7th of October 2023 when they claimed that women were raped, children were beheaded, bodies were burned in ovens. They tried to bring back the images of Holocaust, but that was denied after a while. Even the people who talked about those stories or lies, they talked in public after 40 or 50 days that they have said that on purpose in order to support the Israeli military operation against the Palestinians in Gaza. They've said that in public. Everyone knows that it's lies now. When they talked about the Israeli prisoners in Gaza, they also tried to create fake story that they were mistreated. Everyone realized how they were treated well, how they've talked in a positive way about the Palestinians. Even the woman who was liberated from Nusayrat, when Israel bombed Nusayrat and killed around 200 Palestinians to have her back. She talked, and she then was prevented from talking that she was treated very well from a Palestinian family who they've used to take her to the markets with them, to walk around with them without any abuse for her. I believe everyone knows that Israel is lying. The images of those Israeli prisoners in Gaza, it shows the fact they kept talking and every time that the health is good, the situation is good. Even the last three, who it seems to me that they were not fit as the others, but they've talked that their health was good and they were treated in a good way by the Palestinians. It shows the difference between the real owners of the country, the Palestinians, how they treated even their enemies when they are captured in a good way because they believe that this is their land and they will stay in this land and the future will be for them. While the Israelis who knows that they have stolen this land, occupied this land, they are killing the Palestinians and they are worried like a thief who may be discovered anytime or he will be arrested anytime. So he rather prefer to escape all the time by protecting himself with some lies, saying that he is under attack, etc. So I believe now the image is clear, but unfortunately, it's clear for the people who only for the people who feel free. It's not clear for the United States administration, unfortunately, because they don't treat the international community on the basis of freedom. They are still think about the idea of slavery. They believe that they are the owners of the planet and everyone is their own slave. So they don't believe the people who are seeking to have their freedom. They believe the people who are seeking to have the Palestinians as slaves in their own homeland.
Mr. Hamdan, the main goal set by the Israeli government since October 7th was to destroy Hamas. Many leaders of the organization have been killed. How do you assess Hamas' current situation after these 15 months of intense combat? Who is or who was winning the war?
After 15 months, I have to say that it's clear for everyone that Israel did not win the war against the Palestinians. Well, they have killed 50,000 and more Palestinians, 52,000 Palestinians. They have injured more than 110,000 Palestinians. They have destroyed 70% of the houses in Gaza Strip. They have destroyed most of the infrastructure in Gaza. But the outcome of what they have done, they are murderers, they are terrorists, they are killers. This army can kill, can destroy, but they can't win a fight when it came to a freed people who want to be liberated from the occupation. For the first time, the Israelis are wanted for the ICG. That did not happen before. That means their faces, their real face was uncovered. They tried to show the world as themselves as a democratic state. They've tried to talk about the will to have peace in the region. But in fact, through the last 15 months, their real face was uncovered. Everyone have saw the ugly face, the real ugly face of Israel, an army who is killing the people without any regret, destroying their life without any regret, while the Palestinians who insist to still stand until the Israeli attack stop, they continue that. If you want to talk about the goals of the Israeli attack to demolish the resistance, to destroy the Hamas presence in Gaza,